Right. Hi, Sheli. Good afternoon.
We're just
Can
doing a
you
little
hear
test
me?
run, make sure everything is running properly.
All right.
Joanna, can you hear me on your end?
I can hear you. Yes. Can you see me? Let's see. I can.
Oh, okay, I can hear you now.
Yep. All right. Perfect.
Right.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm here with Sheli Hutchinson for our live event this evening. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I'm so excited that we finally get to do this. I and Sheli were just making sure tech was working. So hopefully you guys can see us. Let us know in the comments. I'm monitoring the comments when Sheli goes on live on the screen. When she does her thing, I'll be off the screen, but I'll be monitoring the comments and questions. So please feel free to put your comments below or your questions, and Sheli will get back to you after she does her thing. So I'm so excited with this for having Sheli share her gifts with us, and I'm so thankful and grateful that you are all here with us. So Sheli, I will give the floor to you, and you do your magic. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. And I just want to say good evening to everybody. And like Joanna said, just so grateful to be sharing in this time and space with each other, and really taking the time to be lifting each other up and finding our spiritual center together. And so when Joanna reached out to me to do this with everybody, I was super excited to do it. Again, my name is Sheli Hutchinson. I am a mindfulness life coach and energy healer. Doing lives is usually not my platform, so bear with me as I just try to, in this new approach, obviously with the circumstances going on in the world, we're looking for new ways to reach out and communicate with each other and share in lifting our frequencies together in common knowledge and common thought and intention. So tonight I will be discussing our energy bodies with you, kind of looking into the things that really raise our energy bodies up and keep our energy bodies healthy, and those things that sort of bring our energy bodies down. And we'll be addressing some of those things and looking at ways how we're going to keep our energy bodies healthy. Um, and let me go back to my notes here. I do have notes just that I stay on track. So let's start. Let's just dive in and take a look at what does our energy body look like. And I have a couple of things. I teach this class actually, and I just try to kind of combine it down into a smaller time frame. So hoping I can fit everything in and that you guys can see everything properly. So this is a kind of a representation of what your auric field looks like. And it's different layers that go around the body. And your auric field can go out really far from the body, and it holds just our sacred lifeline of information, our connections to our past, our higher selves. And then closer to the body, we get into different filters for the body. And those will run with colors too that coordinate with your center energy fields. So when I talk about the auric layers of the body, this is what I'm going to be referring to. Now, and here I'll show you too. This is kind of an example of what the whole energy body would look like. So we have our outer layers, our sort of field around us, and then we have our inner energy fields. In Sanskrit, these were referred to as chakras. So we've known about these energy fields for a very long time, thousands of years we've known. And then with modern technology, we've really gotten to get a more physical look at what those energy bodies were, but they've never changed. So even though a lot of the sacred information we had about our energy bodies came from downloads while meditating and understandings during prayer and meditation, as we advanced in technology, we were able to see that all of those understandings were exactly how they work and look. This is a good example of your 7 main energy fields. We have many energy fields in our bodies, but these are referred to as our main 7 energy fields, or our main 7 chakras. And these chakras, and you can see here, this is what a perfect energy fields would look like. They're all sort of the same size, flowing, giving, and receiving of energy. And two, with the auric field, it's a good example of what a perfect auric body would look like. So there's no smudges in there, there's no dark spots, what would be stagnant energy that gets stuck into our energy bodies. So when we think of what does a perfect energy body look like, we're going to say that this is going to be a person that's grounded, someone who's secure and creative, knows their connection to their divine self, who gives and receives love freely, someone who speaks their truth with love and compassion, someone who has insight and balance. You know, each of these things are sort of housed in our energy fields. And so when we're in a balanced state, all of those things are really flowing and giving and receiving properly. And then when they're not, it runs our energy fields down. So some things that will create a dysfunctional energy body. So this is going to be an energy body where energy is not flowing. Dr. Wilhelm Reich, who studied energy a lot, he studied energy, life force energy, and he actually named it orgone energy. But in his studies, he really narrowed it down to say that any energy that is stagnant is energy that is not healthy for the body. So when we look at things, what can create stagnant energy for when energy is not flowing? And there's internal things that can create stagnant energy, and there's external things. So if we look at some internal things that can run down our energy bodies, we're going to be looking at things like stress. Now, although stress can have outside triggers, it's really how we're managing that stress, how it's going to affect our energy body. You know, we all have stresses in life. It's just part of what we are, but how we are responding to those stresses is really going to be effect on how we're energy body is responding to that. Guilt is another thing that really wears the energy body down. So when we look at stress and guilt, usually when we're living in a state of guilt and sadness, we find ourselves living in the past, dealing with things. We keep regurgitating things of how we handled it, or could we have done better, or why did we do something wrong? And then when we're living in a state of stress, we're kind of living in the future. We're worried about things, trying to control things in the future. And both of these things, whether you're staying in the past or trying to live in the future, are taking you away from the here and now. And the here and now is where we want to pay attention to. And then being in that balanced state of gratitude in the here and now. And so stress, guilt, and fear, these are some internal things of how we process and how we deal with life that are going to play a major role in our energy bodies. And then some outside influences that will affect our energy bodies. And these are just a few, but we're going to look at food. Food is how food is made and how we consume it plays a huge role in our energy bodies. If you look at food, you could even say in your own home, you know, you can tell a difference between a homemade meal that's made with love or a packaged meal that doesn't have any nutrients in it, doesn't have any life force energy in it, that comes in a box that was made in a factory by a machine. You can see the different energies that would be involved in that. And then also when we look at genetically modified foods, these play a huge role not only in our physical body, but in our energy bodies as well. And then geopathic stress, electromagnetic energies, pollutions. These are very specific frequencies that we've come to find that are really a detriment to our energy bodies. And these are, these will play very particular frequencies that aren't frequencies that jive with creation. So when we look at life force frequencies, these are really frequencies that come from creation, come from nature, come from life. And when we look at electromagnetic pollution, we're really looking at sort of frequencies that are coming from devices, giving and receiving frequencies that are not jiving with our bodies, and that these frequencies create stagnant energy, which, as I stated before, Dr. Reich explained, this is what was really deadly orgone energy. DOR is what it's called. So stagnant energy, is what is when the 5G, for example, and electromagnetic energy, what it does is, it takes life force energy on a molecular level and it destructurizes it. And this creates a stagnant state where things aren't flowing. And of course, energy is always flowing. We all know this. And this is what creates a healthy energy fields. So what are the things to do the energy body can, after too much of this, too much stress, too much guilt, too much living in a state of fear, can really shut down our energy bodies. And if we look, for example, at the chakras, these chakras can become shut down and closed down. They can become blown open and flowing out of control. And all of these things are going to play an effect on how our physical body stays healthy. And if we look at our auric field, when we are living in a distressed state and we're living with too much unhealthy frequencies around us, they can create smudges in the aura, little black spots. They can even create blockages in your meridian lines. So when your energy needs to be flowing to particular chakras, in particular, your energy system is always flowing. When those things get stuck in our energy bodies, it's going to stop the energy from flowing how it needs to be flowing, which will affect other areas of life. If our root chakra is not flowing, we're not going to be making decisions from places of safety and security. So all those things are going to feed into each other. So from there, we know that everything in life is energy. So when we look at sickness, disease, stress, those things always enter our body through our energy field first. So let's say the flu, for example, is a frequency, and that frequency enters in through your auric field before it enters into and manifests into a physical symptom. Anything that manifests in the physical body has always come through your energetic field first. So when our energy fields are strong and solid and we're out there, we're shining bright and everything's flowing properly, that makes it more resistant to where those frequencies that aren't serving us, those energies that aren't serving us, sicknesses, even physical things in the body, won't even enter our fields because we're running at a frequency that doesn't allow those things to come in. So let's see. With that in mind, I want to talk about some things with you guys today that really keep our energy bodies running strong. And to start with, the most important and most effective way to keep your energy body healthy and vibrating is through prayer and meditation. Okay. And this is the easiest tool because it's what we already have right inside of us. Just a little time and a little insight. And then doing particular prayer and meditation too. So when we're meditating, there's all kinds of guided meditations out there that you can find. I know that some of our other speakers are going to be doing some guided meditation, so I decided not to do that with you today. But I am going to discuss with you doing a grounding meditation. So this is going to be a meditation that's really going to be focused on pulling that root cord out and getting you super centered and grounded with Mother Earth. Just like all energy, we function properly when energy is grounded. And that is going to be one of the most important things. So When you're doing an intentional meditation where you're using your grounding cords and connecting your higher cords, this is really setting the body up and can really get your chakras aligned and everything all at one time. And then there's just certain steps to that. So if you just get a guided meditation, if you can't find one out there, I do guided meditations, and I can walk you through this and do it a few times with you so that it can become more natural and a routine for you to do that. You can do these grounding exercises anywhere too. You don't necessarily have to be in your prayer room. You can be at work, you can be outside, you can be anywhere, and just take that time to get recentered and grounded. Especially when we're running into situations where we're feeling stress, when we're feeling fear, just take that time out. Taking that me time, as we call it, right, to stay centered and keep our spiritual bodies healthy. That is always our number one priority. So, another thing too is meditating outside, walking around on the ground. This is very grounding. Those things coincide together, they're not coincidence. And spending time with the trees. Trees are very grounding. That's just the energy that they put out. So you can spend time, you can put a tree or a chair directly in front of the tree and just spend that time. And you can even visualize the energy coming in through your crown, going out through your feet, through the tree, and sharing in that energy together. You can hug a tree is another way to get super grounded and be super connected at the same time. And then too, with the restrictions we have on us right now for going out and about, what a perfect time, that it's like a gift that we've been given to get some extra time away from the stressors in life, away from the stress at work and the stress of politics and the stress of this and that, and just get connected with the things that we really have readily available for us. And setting up a routine too, a daily routine where you are particularly working on setting your intention for the day and grounding. And this is, doing that in the morning just sort of sets that tone for the day. It keeps it on the forefront of our mind. Living as our higher selves with that intention. And not being so perceptible to the things that we're going to encounter every day that can kind of pull us away from our center. And two, when we're familiar with what it's like to be centered in our state of gratitude, living in that spot of happiness and having a smile on our face. When we set that intention in the morning, we do our meditation, we're grounded, our intention is set that we live as our highest selves, we're authentic, we speak our truth, and that we shine our light bright for everybody. And we walk out the door and we're living in that beautiful center, right? So when we encounter things throughout the day that pull us away from that center, it's going to become much more familiar to you. It's going to become much more obvious to you that these are things that are pulling you away from that center. And then you can address those things. How are you handling those things that are pulling you away from your spiritual center? And then that's the process. We're processing those things and putting them in a place that is serving us best, and however we choose to deal with them. So, just putting everything in its proper place. So always knowing that anything you need to be spiritually centered and happy and secure is already right inside of you. And that's where that connection lies. Any truth that you're seeking, it's already inside of you. You just have to ask and connect with it and take that time. Take that time for yourself to connect with that. So I'm going to go over some things now, some actual tools that we use to help keep our frequencies running at healthy levels and connecting us with those other life force frequencies that are going to serve our bodies and our spirituality to its highest. And the first one I want to start with is water. Is not only is water grounding, so when you're drinking it, it's grounding. When you're meditating, you can actually put your hand in a glass of water. It's really grounding, and just like electricity, when it hits water, it grounds it out. most special thing about water, though, is that water holds frequency. It holds intention, and therefore, because our bodies are made of water. 70 to 80% of our body mat is water. So when we drink water that is structured, we call it structured water or prayer water, that has intention in it. It's really taking it into our bodies on a more molecular level. And structuring the cells in our bodies also. So easy thing you can do is when you get your bottle of water, prefer that to use glass. All you have to do is fill up your bottle of water, and you're just going to hold it to yourself and just take that time to love that water. And you're going to do this for 10 or 15 minutes. And just channeling all your love and compassion. And if it helps, you could think of like something you just love and honor so, so much. A young child, and a special animal, a spirit guide, whatever really pulls you into that space of unconditional love. And you're putting that into the water because you're holding it in your hands and you're channeling that in there. So all of your energy. Do that for about 15 minutes. It does take a little while. This is just a personal water bottle. You can use larger containers so that your water lasts a little longer. And if you look into the studies of Dr. Emoto, I almost forgot his name for a second, but honor to him. He did a lot of study on water, and it really showed us a greater understanding of how frequency and vibration plays an effect on water, and therefore we can understand how it plays an effect on our body at a a cellular level. And that would be referred to as healer water, charged water, structured water, prana water, whatever you would like to call it. So another way to charge your water is by using crystals. I'm going to set this here. I'm sorry, I can't really see my table. Some crystals you can actually put right in your water. If you're unfamiliar with using crystals in a therapy sort of sense, I would suggest just don't do that. But you can, when you put your bottle down on the table, you can place your crystals around the bottom of it, or you can take another jar, put your crystals in that jar, and then place that in your larger container. You want to leave that in there for about 24 hours. So a full cycle, preferably outside of sun and night. So day and night. And this will have your water charged then. The frequencies of the crystal you would be using would now be the frequencies in your water. And then you drink the water. Another thing is flower essence. If you can see this, these are different flower essence. The way that flower essences are made, basically, is they take a flower and they let it sit in water, and the frequency from the flower goes into the water. This is a very basic description of how that works. So then when you have the water, so say, for example, this is holly, and this is a Bach remedy. Bach was one of the originators of understanding frequencies that come from plants and how they affect the body. And so, for example, this one is holly. It says, encourages a more generous nature when you feel jealous, envious, vengeful, or suspicious. So these flower essence are going to be very, very specific frequencies. And when you're looking at things that you're dealing with in your own particular journey, and you know that like you're coming from a spot of feeling suspicious or envious, and it's something you know that doesn't serve you well, this is going to help you tune in with those frequencies that heal that stuff. And two, this is a master blend here with flower essence. You could use 1 drop of flower essence into a bottle. That frequency of that flower essence is going to resonate through all your water. And then your water is charged with that frequency. These you can put right in your water and drink it. You can mix more than 1 flower essence together. I think it's usually around 4 or 5. I wouldn't go over that. just because it might be too much. And then you can also add them with a tincture of water in a spray bottle and spray it around you. Right, we're just connecting with those frequencies. So another way to really help us connect with those frequencies that we know we're needing to get in tune with. And then last but not least for water, I'm going to actually talk about this water bottle. This is what would be referred to as the Fibonacci sequence, and it's how the glass is designed. The Fibonacci sequence is also referred to as the golden ratio. It's the key of life. So when your water is put in this bottle, within about 3 minutes, this is charged, structured water. And you can actually even taste the difference in it. Even when you do healer water, you will taste the difference in it when you drink it because the water is structured. If you live in cities and places where you're sharing municipalities where your water is going through a lot of pipes and things to get to you, that can become very fragmented. So using things that restructure water for you and then consuming that water restructures and helps keep us healthy on a cellular level. And I will point out too that, let me make sure this is closed. If you can see, the bottom of this bottle also has the flower of life design on it, and that design puts off a particular frequency too. So on this bottle, you're getting the frequency from the Fibonacci sequence and then charged right from the bottom with the flower of life there. The flower of life and the design itself radiates a frequency to it. And these frequencies are frequencies of creation, therefore they're life force frequencies, and they're frequencies that jive and coincide with our energy bodies. So that's our thing on water. And then I'm going to move on to some crystals. I do crystal therapy, so I use crystals a lot. And crystals are really help us. Each crystal has, its own properties to it, its own metaphysical properties and its own physical properties too. Crystals do heal the physical body. And then we're going to see, sorry, just let me rearrange here. So actually, first I do want to do a shout out here. If you want to start working with crystals, this is a book by Judy Hall, and she is the crystal guru. And this one's called The Crystal Bible. She has a few different books out on crystals. The latest book that she just put out is really focused on the effects of 5G, geopathic stress, electromagnetic radiation, and the crystals that we're using now to help cleanse those frequencies. So that one is a really good one. And if you have access to it, check that out. The first crystal I'm going to start with is selenite. And this is a selenite stick. And they can come in all different sizes. This is one I use in healing. And I've just copper wired different stones to it to add those different frequencies there. Selenite is a very special stone. It's one of the stones that doesn't itself have to be cleansed, and it's always charged. And this is the stone that we use particularly for cleansing the aura. And all you have to do is actually just run that selenite right in your auric field, and you can just feel it. It's really beautiful. And it's just going to help keep that, and if we have those stagnant energy spaces in there, this is going to help get that flowing, and run it right in your meridian line all the way down to your feet. So selenite is very special. I purchase a lot of it. I keep it by my bedside when I take off my jewelry at night. I place all my jewelry. Most of my jewelry is gemstones. I place it on selenite. So this just keeps it charged. So when I wake up the next morning, it's ready to go for me and all set. And then selenite, though, is one of the stones that you wouldn't want to put in water. And it actually can get very sort of brittle, and it gets little shards that come off of it. So be careful when handling it. And like I said, I would stay away from just putting crystals in water to begin with, unless you're super familiar with them and you know for sure that they can actually be put directly in water. Um, then I would go into two. When you're dealing with crystals and you want to be connecting with the frequencies that are going to be healing for our particular chakras, just a general rule of thumb is that your crystal can be the same color as that chakra. This is going to help. Now, that doesn't go all the time. Sometimes different colors will help different chakras. Once you get into it more, you can understand which ones do that and how some stones will have benefits for different chakras. But a general rule of thumb, especially when you're starting out, is that if you know you're working on your root chakra and you need to have some healing there, so, your root chakra is open when you're kind of young. And so like that early childhood stuff kind of stays in that root chakra. So, sometimes if you've had a traumatic early childhood, if you kind of live in a space of fight or flight, all this stuff is kind of housed in that root chakra. So you can be connecting with things that are red. Red is going to be the frequency that will feed the root chakra, and that's the color that's associated with that chakra. So you can find red stones. You can connect with the color red outside. And the way you connect with the color outside is seeing it, intentionally bringing it in. So you're breathing in that color of that life force energy, breathing it, visualizing that going all the way down into your root chakra. And then when you breathe out, you're breathing out gratitude, right? You're thankful, so, so thankful for this beautiful energy that creation has given us. When we live in a state of gratitude, that's when we're really giving and receiving those beautiful energies. We don't want to just be sucking up energies, right? So when we live in that state of, oh, so much gratitude for those things, that helps in that giving and receiving. So again, go up to your sacral, your solar, yellow citrine. When you're connecting to and using these stones, you can lay down on a bed. You can put them in the particular right into the chakra that it goes to. So say, for example, you can put that right on your third eye, meditating. If you're really trying to cleanse the pineal gland, using them for those different things too. You can keep your crystals in your pocket with you during the day. So not only are your crystals resonating a frequency that is balanced and healing for that particular energy field, but in energy, we know that like attracts like. So when you have this crystal with you, you're getting the energy directly from the crystal. And then this crystal is going to help bring in those frequencies, those like frequencies, because like attracts like. And so we're connecting with those things in life too. Color itself holds frequencies to it. So even when we're meditating and we're visualizing colors, those frequencies come along with that too. So you don't necessarily need these tools, right? These are tools that just help us stay in frequency. Especially, when we're at home and we're really in our relaxed state and living in our center in the world that we created, is one thing, right? We're in our happy spot. But when we go out and about, is where we're really going to be encountering, I would say, hopefully our home is our happy spot, right? And it most definitely should be. But when we go out in public, and encountering different things that are really outside of the reality we created, we want to make sure that we're still staying grounded and we're connected with those frequencies that are serving us. And then, of course, when we could, it'd be wonderful to always stay in a state of prayer and meditation to make sure that our frequencies are high. But we know living in this realm that we have a duality. And so when we carry our crystals with us, they also send us a reminder of our spiritual self. When we feel it in our pocket, it takes us back to that center in our spiritual core. So there's a different reasons, really, we're going to carry these crystals for reminders, for frequencies, and for bringing in the frequencies that we look for to help keep us healthy and protected and grounded. So a rule of thumb, when you're looking for crystals to really go particularly for your chakras, just follow those colors for that. And that's just an easy way to connect with those frequencies. Another stones we're going to talk about is stones that are helping with electromagnetic radiation and the effects of 5G networking. And even, the waves that we get off our microwaves. I know some people still have microwaves, smart devices. These things send off a frequency that can become distorted and becomes fractionated, and it's unhealthy for our bodies. Amazingly enough, I always find this amazing, is that even though some of these stones have been around for however long, we don't know, that the attributes of them are helping us to heal things that are in our modern times. To think that in creation, a stone was created that filters out 5G frequencies that were never, hadn't come about into the past 10 years, it's pretty miraculous. Even when we look at foods and things that are healing people from modern diseases, is that really Earth and creation has given us everything we need to be healthy and balanced. And even when we're encountering new trials, new viruses, new situations in life, new pollution, new cancers, new sicknesses, is that when we look at nature, that really the things are coming up that are there to serve us, to help us with those things. So this is first one I'm going to talk about is black tourmaline. And this one is great for protection, for cleansing, especially of geopathic stress and electromagnetic radiation. These you can keep on your pocket. Keep in your pocket. The same with, this is amazonite or amazonite. My girlfriend always yells at me and says I say it wrong. Another stone, great for cleansing. And these are particularly, we're talking about those frequencies out there that are really disrupting our normal Earth's frequencies. Labradorite, another one, protection and cleansing. And these are stones we definitely would like to keep on us when we're out and about encountering things in the world. A very, very important stone I want to talk to you about is called shungite. Shungite, they believe, was actually a meteor that came down. It landed in Russia. And just within the past handful of years, the substance came back up to the surface, and then this shungite was discovered. The only place that you can get it is in Russia. And they do ship. Don't get me wrong. It's not that hard to get. You just got to wait a little while. Shungite is an amazing, amazing new stone that's out. Particularly, it has, on a molecular level, this stone, this substance, has something they call a filibuster. And on it, like a fullerene of it looks like the structure of a soccer ball. And there's no substance like it on Earth. And it particularly cleanses geopathic stress and the effects of 5G. So pretty beautiful and amazing thing that these things the Earth is giving us to help us to balance and protect us from the things that are uncleansed right now. Shungite you can actually get in a powder form. I make orgonite, so I use a lot of these things in things that I make. This is a chipped shungite. Shungite just by itself is cleansing. Any one of these stones I've talked about, the amazonite, the black tourmaline, and shungite, you can actually tape a stone or hot glue one of these stones directly to the back of your cell phone. And it can cleanse and will cleanse the energies there, the unstructured frequencies that are coming through there that do not serve, they don't serve the body or the planet. And so we want to make sure that we're keeping our energy bodies and frequencies protected from that stuff. And I will say too that the shape of a crystal, we'll go into that a little bit. So this is a rough cut. You can see it's obviously pretty much came out of the ground that way. This is what we refer to as a rough cut crystal. This shungite piece here is a rough polish, so it's not a high gloss polish. And then these would be a very polished stone. Okay. And so if you look at a stone like this, that's a rough cut. The energy that's coming out of this stone is coming out of every little spike you see on there, just emanating through it. If you look at a sphere crystal, this is generating out all sides of it. Okay. And then if you look at, let's say, this is a double terminated quartz. So this actually comes out both ends, but you can see where the points are here. The energy is flowing out there. Okay. So when you're working with crystals, you can kind of get an idea of how the energy is flowing through them. Life force energy flows through the crystals. And a good thing to know about quartz or any crystal is when you get a crystal for the first time, what you're going to do is put that crystal in salt and then smudge it with a little sage. That's going to cleanse it and ground it. And then when you're ready to use your crystal, particularly quartz, quartz crystal holds all color in it, so it connects with all frequencies. And with the quartz, you're just going to put it in your left hand and take your 2 fingers from your right hand and put it right on that crystal. And you're just going to tell you're programming your crystals. You're just going to tell it what you want it to be doing. You can say, connect me with the grounding frequencies that are going to serve my body to the highest good, protect me from any frequencies that will not be serving me. There you go. And your crystal is charged and it knows exactly what it's supposed to be doing. Pretty miraculous. Once you've charged your crystals, it's a good idea not to let other people be touching them. Because then that kind of interrupts the programming that you put on them. But if that does happen and people like to get grabby and look at things, especially if you're wearing them on jewelry, just make sure that you do the cleansing again and reset them. You can always do medicine bags. This way I can carry a lot of crystals with me on my body. And then I do all my jewelry is always crystals because why not? Carry them frequencies with us. Usually too, when you are setting the intention and charging things, I would say, do that at least every 2 or 3 weeks. You're going to want to reset the intention on those to make sure they're good and strong. And then maybe too, you're looking to connect with different frequencies or you're expecting your crystal to help with different things. So you can reset that intention at that time too. Another tool that we use to help cleanse our frequencies and keep us healthy is orgonite. And this is an orgonite piece. Orgonite basically consists of metal and resin. This piece here and quartz. This is an important thing. The other crystals you'll find in orgonite are just to add those frequencies to it. And then most importantly too, I will say if you're looking to buy orgonite, is you really want more metal and resin than you want crystals and resin. It's really not about it looking really pretty. It's really about the function of it. So 50-50 ratio of resin and metal is what you want to be looking for. If you can see here on the bottom of this piece, this is powdered materials. So this is powdered shungite, powdered iron, powdered copper, powdered gold, and they're all mixed together. How orgonite works is it draws in, because the resin is made from an organic material, and I don't mean certified organic, I mean organic in nature. It draws life force energy into it. And this is studies done by Dr. Wilhelm Reich. And then when it gets in there, the ions kind of stretch in between, and that pulling and pushing of the ions restructure it to make it healthy again. It can turn it from a positive ion. Positive ions are unhealthy for our bodies, and transforms it into a negative ion, which is what our bodies thrive on. And so it goes through that process. And then with the crystal in there, the quartz crystal is really going to structure that. And we use different things, copper coils and things like that to really help the energy flow through. So these are things you can keep on your nightstand. You can put them on your phones, different shapes. They have we make huge cloud busters that you can put outside to help with geopathic stress, chemtrails, um, electromagnetic radiation, all those things. And two, they just help to sleep at night. You can put them on your bedside table, just help keep energy flowing. That's their intention, is to keep take in stagnant energy and turn it into healthy energy and send it back out. So again, tools that we can be using just to help us stay connected and stay healthy and grounded. And I would say too, some routines to get into that help us keep our healthy energy body. And we talked a little bit about the morning routine when we're doing prayer and meditation and setting our intention for the day, and really telling the universe what by frequencies we want to be connecting with, and how we want to be showing up in the world. This is a good routine to get into. I would say if you don't already have a morning routine, a spiritual routine, or a meditation routine, is that it can seem overwhelming at first. So I always tell my clients, you know, have your, set your expectations high, but be realistic. If you're going to start out saying that you're going to meditate for 45 minutes every morning, that over time that might not be feasible, right? And you're setting yourself up for failure. So start small. If you can take that 5 minutes in the morning when you get out of the shower, taking those extra steps to add in some spiritual routines. So it can be using oils, certain prayers, chants. Even if you have a song that you like to sing that raises your frequency and puts you in a place of happiness and security, sing that song. But it's still a routine that you're taking your time to connect with your inner self. And then in the evening time too. I was going to say too, with the meditation, start out small. If you're committed to, tell yourself you'll do 5 minutes a day. And if you're doing 10 minutes a day, you're overachieving, right? But you're not setting yourself up for failure. And start small too. Don't set your expectations so high that they're unattainable. And guided meditation helps a lot. I do suggest loving kindness meditation because that's what I teach. And it really is more about really changing our perspective on how and where we find our happiness and our center, and sharing that with others. And then there is, and I'll stay with that. And then, so a nice evening routine when you get done with the day is really getting out your sage. This is a sage stick. It's used up. I use it a lot in every part of the house. But when you come home at the end of the day, taking your selenite stick, cleansing that aura, right? We're cleansing anything that's kind of stuck with us through the day, an argument we had with the boss, all those things, right? We're just cleansing those things out, and we're wrapping them in the purple light and just sending them back to their source, right? They're not serving us and we're not going to be harboring on them. So if we get into a daily routine where we're cleansing our aura, and then of course the sage too, start at the feet and go all the way up and just letting the smoke permeate through your auric layers. So this is going to keep us cleansed every day. Two, our energy bodies are designed to heal. Everybody, all humans are healers. We were made that way. But when we don't understand how our energy can become depleted from maybe healing people unknowingly, that's where our energy bodies become unhealthy. So when we're taking that time to recharge ourselves and making sure that we're balanced, when we go out and about and we meet people that are in need, people who are sick and people who are mentally unhappy, that we can give of our energy freely to them, because we know that we can charge it back up when we get home. That is the way of healing. And it's in our human nature. So I think at a time right now, especially with the coronavirus or the COVID-19, to not let it put us in a place of fear. As we know, as we talked about, fear is the number one thing that really drives our energy bodies down. A lot of people believe that the opposite of love is hate, but it's not. The opposite of love is fear. And we might think that we hate something, but if we look deep inside, it's really that we're afraid of it. Fear is an emotion that happens quickly, and it can hold on super strong, and it can overwhelm us quickly. Love, on the other hand, is something that takes time to build, right? But it's the strongest of all frequencies, of all emotions, and nothing cancels out love, right? Because it's the highest frequency. So just keep that in mind, when we're dealing with the things that we have going on right now in the world, is that we're staying in our spiritual center, and we're not being led into fear. Regardless of whatever's happening, that we're always embracing change, right? That the one constant in life is change. And that when we are really in our spiritual center, that we embrace that change for what it is, and we are encountering things as they come, and not creating things to be scared of. And even beyond the virus and the situation that we're going in right now, when we look at a lot of things in life, a lot of things play off of our fear. We can create fear of the unknown, fear of our neighbors, fear of people that are different than us. These fears really divide us, and the only thing that really connects us is love. So don't live your life in fear, and don't let other people lead you into a path of being fearful. Connect with those things that take you on the path of love. And that's where all healing will happen, all the healing that we need in the world. And then I will also say, too, that when you are doing your cleansings and your meditation, when you're doing your morning meditation and prayer and setting your intention, to take a little time and send that out into the world. The power you have inside of you to push those frequencies of love and healing out is unmatchable. It's the greatest power that we have in this realm, is to heal, and we can send that healing through time and space, with just a mustard seed of faith that it works. And believe me, it does. And then at night, too, when you take that time to cleanse your aura and your energy field, send that intention out to the universe, too. Send that cleansing out into the universe, out into the planet, and out into the people. You don't have to be a certified healer to do those things, because it's human nature to heal, and it's our greatest gift. So I think I've kind of covered everything. I don't know if anybody had any questions or anything. Yeah, so
Thank you, Shelley. I learned a lot today.
I hope I
love
wasn't going too
crystal,
fast.
I've been dabbling into wanting to learn about water, and you just shared some of that, and I'm really excited. I was going to dive into that, but I love to learn a lot of things, so I try to hold back. Otherwise, I'm a recovering shiny object syndrome addict.
Oh, I know how that goes. Right,
So yeah,
right.
but I love it. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us, and all
Oh,
the practices that you are doing for yourself, because I think they're very helpful. I think they're also very simple, which helps
yes,
in this time of just overwhelm and fear. I think the best thing we can do is really make things simple, and to just be able to just come back to our center with all that's happening today.
It is. I think that is, and like you said, I agree that we think that things can be difficult, but that, when we look inside, really everything we need is already right there. We just connect with it, and connecting with that state of love and gratitude really just keeps us nice and balanced.
Yes, absolutely. And everything you have shared today, I also love it. I love crystals. I haven't delved into flower essences. I just recently know of somebody who does it, and she's been inviting me to do the Bach flower essence. I think that's what you're using. And
Yes,
I
yes.
want to, now I really want to learn more. So,
I will tell you. Yeah, that's actually when I studied uh, Dr. Emoto's findings. That's when I got led into flower essence, and then just everything about water. It just creates a really great visual understanding of how frequency plays an effect in the physical world. I
yeah,
think we spend a lot of time thinking, or we grew up in an age of a Newtonian age where we just believed that there was physical and that was it, and then coming to an understanding where really nothing is physical, everything is energy, and understanding how those energies interact with the physical world. Just because I think we were programmed so long to find a disconnect in those, that,
yes,
finding those connections and being able to have those visuals helps our Newtonian minds
absolutely right.
understand how energy
Because
works.
first of all, at the end of the day, we're still humans, like
Mhm.
that's why we're here. We came here to experience the being a human being. So
Yes,
it's really a matter of synergistically integrating our human body with our energy, because
so
that's what we're
true.
here for. And it's amazing how many things we have at our disposal, all the
Yes.
tools that we have. And it's really exciting that you've shared this today, because I've been wanting to do this thing and I just haven't had the chance. And I thought that, what a perfect time for people. Now we have a lot of time on our
Yeah.
hands, whether we like it or not. But I try to see it in this perspective of we have to do this. Like, we are called to slow down.
I feel the exact same way. And I think too, looking at this experience as an opportunity, and not a detriment, and not a wrench in our daily lives, but really an opportunity to connect with our spiritual selves. I think a
Yeah.
lot of times in life too, we'll say, oh, I don't have time to meditate. I don't have time to do this stuff. I got work and I
Yep.
got kids and I got school and I got activities. And we're really being able, it's a blessing to be able to disconnect from
Absolutely
those.
right. Because we've been resisting it so much that now whoever you call God, the universe, it's making you do it. Like, it's not
Yeah,
right now. It's like we have been given a lot of chances, but we haven't listened. So
right.
now, so now it's about time that we listen, because
Yeah,
this
and
is the time to do it.
yes. And I think, and I believe from my truth and my understanding is that, we are coming into the age of Aquarius. And this is the time of a great awakening, a great
Absolutely.
spiritual awakening.
Yes.
So people are looking, they're out there looking, I think, for that deeper connection with themselves
Hmm.
and for understanding of spirituality,
Yes.
beyond, churches and beyond temples
Hmm.
and beyond theology and denominations, that there is a
Hmm.
spiritual awakening. And I think what a blessing that we have this time during this awakening to really connect with all those new frequencies and energies that are out there. We call them upgrades, but it's really us tuning in,
Yes.
with the
I think
changes
it's
that are
there.
going
It's
on.
always been there all along, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We just had to pay attention. We had to go back to it because we
Yeah.
basically forgot it. So
Yes.
but it's always
Yeah.
been there for us.
Right. Right. And I think too, there's a lot of things in our daily lives and in our how our society is set up that really I don't want to say intentionally, but really pull us away from our spiritual center. So, you know,
Yeah.
it's not just like our normal human life that's pulling us away from it, but there's things going on, you know, when we're looking at things that are always consuming our thoughts and our energy. What
Mhm.
are those things, you know, and are they serving us any good?
Mhm. So thank you so much for
Thank you.
sharing your time and wisdom with us again. People
Thank you
can
so
find
much.
you on your page. I already put it on the comments too, and the somewhere below the video where but so I you also have an access to that page that I created for all of you. It's the video should be automatically in there already.
Wonderful.
So thank you so much
Thank
again, and
you.
I hope you guys enjoyed this. I learned so much from you today, Shelley.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so
Love and
much.
light to all of you.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.